And joining me now is our big newsmaker, Railways and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw is joining us. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV, sir. India has just hosted a hugely successful G20. One of the flagship announcements, Mr. Vaishnaw, has been on MOU between India, the USA, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Germany, France, Italy and the European Union to establish this India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. Tell us about this project. What will it entail, its size and impact?
Thank you very much. The India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, it's a very significant and a very important project. It comes straight out of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's vision. He believes that there are so many common values that India, Middle East and Europe share. There are so many common economic interests which are aligned that this is the right opportunity to create an economic corridor which connects India, Middle East and Europe, and of course backed by US, to create a transportation and trade corridor and a communication corridor which will create many more opportunities for all the three areas. So this will basically be a shipping and rail corridor from the west coast of India, the ports on the west coast of India, which is in Gujarat, in Maharashtra, Goa, Kerala, Karnataka. These ports will then be directly connected via shipping lines to the ports in Middle East, and from the ports of Middle East a railway corridor will be created which goes via UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan and then all the way to Europe. So this will create a seamless transportation corridor between Europe and India via Middle East. There will also be a communication corridor connected with it, because once the right of way is available, then a very strong, a very high bandwidth optical fiber cable can be installed along this right of way. Then in future we can also get opportunities for creating gas pipelines and other such infrastructure projects along this right of way.
Okay, Mr. Vaishnaw, this international cooperation in infrastructure projects, especially those related to logistics, transport, freight and connectivity, is fast becoming one of the principal vectors, I would say, through which international power and influence are being projected on a regional and global scale. We have seen China do it through the BRI, but it is also about that debt trap diplomacy, which has seen several developing African countries and those in South Asia remain beholden to it. How do you see India championing this very ambitious project and perhaps do it even differently?
You are absolutely right. The BRI basically came with lots of conditions. One of the things which normally happens whenever any country executes a BRI project is it comes with tons and tons of debt, and it in many cases puts the country in a debt trap. In contrast with that, this project, India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor, this is a corridor in which our Prime Minister's vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is very clearly ingrained right from the beginning, right from the conception of this project. So each country can look at its own needs, and basis those needs and requirements the project can be then designed. Secondly, because this project is highly bankable, many multilateral institutions are willing to fund it, sovereign funds are willing to participate in it, private equity is willing to be a part of it. Third, the transportation itself will bring so much revenue to this corridor that it will be able to pay on its own without getting the host country into a debt trap. So in multiple ways this is very different. From the political point of view, the difference comes in the thought process behind it. Our Prime Minister's vision of taking everybody along rather than imposing something, that is very important part of this corridor.
And Mr. Vaishnaw, let's look at your other portfolio. This has to do with digital payment infrastructure. You have been talking extensively about it. There is a recent World Bank report which said that India achieved 80% financial inclusion in 6 years through its newly developed digital stack, something that would have otherwise taken 47 years or perhaps, as it is said, 5 decades. Digital and financial inclusion track in the G20 saw participation from over 125 countries and organizations. Adoption of fast payment system like UPI, Aadhaar have been transformative. क्या इंडिया ने, क्या भारत ने ये टेक्नोलॉजी अब भारत के बाहर देने का फैसला किया है, और is India now the new technology evangelist of the world?
You are absolutely right. Today the entire world looks at India as a country which can give very affordable, highly robust technology platforms to solve problems at population scale. That's very different from the past when India was going out to the world looking for technology. Now India is actually giving out technology to the world, and digital stack, which was developed as a part of the Digital India program, is a very good example of it. Not only the emerging economies, not only the poor countries, but also the countries which are developed, which are rich, which are prosperous, those countries are also highly interested in adopting this digital stack, what it's called today as DPI, Digital Public Infrastructure. This has been accepted very well, and as a part of the Delhi Declaration, there is a clear framework for developing systems which has been adopted in this G20 conference. So, for example, if any European country would like to adopt the digital stack developed in India, then it will require multiple standards to be harmonized. It will require some companies which can go out and implement. It will require a framework for legal harmonization. So, all those things will be done as a part of the One Future Alliance and as a part of the framework for developing systems to take DPI to the world. So, this is a very big achievement, and when the Digital India program was launched in 2015 by our Prime Minister, there were many naysayers, including people like Mr. Chidambaram, Dr. Chidambaram, who actually said that why do we even need a digital program like this. And look today, within a short time frame of 8 years, what India has achieved, the way it has empowered the poor and the marginalized sections of the society, that is being recognized by the world, and the world is willing to adopt and actually eager to adopt our technologies.
And in the last few months, there has been a major push for India to make a foray into the chip manufacturing space, a frontier we haven't conquered so far despite having the best technical talent. Having every significant chip manufacturer's design base in India. So what is prompting the government to open up its doors and purse strings both for large scale capex? Please explain to us that idea.
Semiconductor industry is a foundational industry. If you have semiconductor industry, then you can do many more things, in the sense that, for example, today practically everything that we see in our lives that has a significant semiconductor part in it. For example, beginning from the kitchen, where the refrigerator will have chips in it, the air conditioner in the home has semiconductors in it, the car or the scooter that one drives, that will have semiconductor in it, or if you take metro or public transportation, that will have chips. The aviation sector, the defense sector, the railway sector, practically every sector today is dependent upon semiconductors as a major input to its industry. That's why it's very important for us to develop this industry, and our Prime Minister's vision of developing semiconductor industry in the country has given very good results. As we speak, the first plant of Micron is now moving towards construction and training of the people who will be working in that plant. So this is a very fast rollout of the program, and once the first plant is successful, that will give huge incentive, huge impetus to the other companies which are still evaluating. So we can say that in the coming couple of years, we'll see a significantly well-developed semiconductor industry in the country.
अश्विनी वैष्णव जी, 3 सवाल एनडीटीवी इंडिया के लिए। आप एनडीटीवी इंडिया पर भी अब लाइव हैं। हमें बताइए, हमारे दर्शकों को समझाइए, G20 डॉक्यूमेंट, दिल्ली डिक्लेरेशन जो है, उसका सबसे बड़ा टेक अवे जो दोनों है वो आपके मंत्रालय से होकर के गुजरता है। कुछ समझाइए हमें कि किस तरह से ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट और महत्वपूर्ण डिसीजंस हैं।
G20 में भारत के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की लीडरशिप को एक ग्लोबल स्टेट्समैन की तरह स्वीकार किया गया है। आज जब मोदी जी बोलते हैं, सारी दुनिया उनको सुनती है, उनको स्वीकार करती है। आप देखिए कितने तरह के डिफरेंसेस थे, फिर भी सबकी सहमति होके सभी एक कॉमन अंडरस्टैंडिंग पे पहुंच के दिल्ली डिक्लेरेशन साइन हुआ। इस दिल्ली डिक्लेरेशन के बहुत सारे मायने हैं। इसमें पॉलिटिकल पोजीशनिंग है, साथ ही साथ बहुत सारे इकोनॉमिक डिसीजंस भी हैं। जैसे डिजिटल इंडिया के तहत जो भारत का इंडिया स्टैक बना, जो भारत की आइडेंटिटी सिस्टम है, भारत का जो पेमेंट सिस्टम है, भारत का जो ONDC बन रहा है, इन सब चीज़ों को आज दुनिया ने एक्सेप्ट किया है, स्वीकार किया है कि ये एक ऐसा टेक्नोलॉजी का स्टैक है जिससे जो हमारे वल्नरेबल सेक्शंस है, जो हमारे गरीब, वंचित और अब तक विकास की धारा से दूर रहे, उन सबको भी एक बहुत बड़ी एम्पावरमेंट की जा सकती है, उन सबको भी वर्ल्ड क्लास सर्विसेज दी जा सकती है। इसको दुनिया ने स्वीकारा है और अब डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज़ भी भारत के इस डिजिटल स्टैक को स्वीकार करके इसको अपने अपने देश में लगाना चाहते हैं। ये बहुत बड़ा एक अचीवमेंट है G20 के इस मीटिंग का। दूसरा बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट है भारत, मिडल ईस्ट और यूरोप के बीच में एक शिपिंग और रेलवे के माध्यम से इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर बनना। इस इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर में भारत के जो वेस्ट कोस्ट के पोर्ट्स हैं, गुजरात के पोर्ट्स, महाराष्ट्र के, केरल के, कर्नाटक के, गोवा के, इन सब पोर्ट्स से मिडल ईस्ट के पोर्ट्स में डायरेक्ट शिपिंग लाइन कनेक्ट हो और मिडल ईस्ट के पोर्ट्स से UAE, सऊदी अरेबिया, जॉर्डन, इनके माध्यम से यूरोप तक एक रेलवे लाइन पहुँचे। इससे भारत, मिडल ईस्ट और यूरोप के बीच में एक सीमलेस कनेक्टिविटी बनेगी। इस सीमलेस ट्रांसपोर्टेशन नेटवर्क से व्यापार बढ़ेगा, रोजगार के नए साधन उपलब्ध होंगे, भारत के रेलवे सेक्टर को नए अवसर मिलेंगे जिससे कि अपने रेलवे सेक्टर की उपलब्धियों को हम एक्सपोर्ट कर सके, डिज़ाइन में, एग्जीक्यूशन में, रेलवे के लोकोमोटिव्स को एक्सपोर्ट कर सके, रेलवे के कोचेस को एक्सपोर्ट कर सके, वैगन्स को एक्सपोर्ट कर सके। ये सब अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ इसके माध्यम से मिलेगी। और एक और बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, टेलीकॉम में भारत और अमेरिका के बीच में 5G और 6G को डेवलप करने के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा इम्पॉर्टेंट समझौता हुआ है। भारत 6G अलायंस और अमेरिका की नेक्स्ट G अलायंस, इसके बीच में। इससे भारत के उपकरणों को, जो टेलीकॉम के इक्विपमेंट भारत में डिज़ाइन होते हैं और बनते हैं, उनको अमेरिका में एक्सपोर्ट किया जा सकेगा और बहुत नई उपलब्धियां इससे, बहुत नए अवसर इससे निकलेंगे।
All right, Ashwini Vaishnaw, Railways and IT Minister, thank you so much for your time and thank you for decoding the New Delhi Declaration for our viewers.